Market prices continue to fall on the reserve list as well as every area of Magic the Gathering. What will Wizards do to fix this situation? That's what a lot of players want to know, and they're not buying anything until they find out. You really have to start to wonder what is going on. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you once again for hanging out with me on the channel today. We're only 630 subscribers away from hitting 14,000 subs. Thanks again to all the new subscribers joining in the channel and hitting that subscribe button, giving the videos a thumbs up, and leaving comments in the comment section. Of course, all my regular viewers who tune in each and every day, my Patreon members who join that Patreon to support the channel, as well as my YouTube membership members. What a strange experience it's been to see Wizards slide so far down the rabbit hole. Right now, the MTG finance world is at a crossroads. Between the collector, the investor, the player, distributor, LGS, all because of some choices that Wizards of the Coast has implemented. The way we are going to see this evolve will take some time to unravel. But it is going to happen. And not everyone is going to be happy with those end results. Today's video is a Hot 10 reserve list video showing you what's going on the reserve list side and the hottest selling cards we have in the market. I'll also be commenting in today's video about the current state of the MTG finance from the places I'm getting information from, local LGSs, players, distributors, people I deal with. This is kind of a fascinating time to be around in Magic and reporting to you, as I said earlier, because this has just never happened this way before. The last time I saw hate like this is when the reserve list was formed, people talking about Chronicles, and of course at that time I was a teenager and did not fully appreciate what was being said by older players. But now, as a collector, as an investor, as somebody who spent a good part of my life playing and enjoying the wonderful game of Magic the Gathering, I can see it from all sides. I get it. And this is that time where when all these things, when the dust settles and things finally get hashed out, we'll be looking probably at an entirely new way of doing business in this world, and not everyone is going to come out unscathed. People who are not financially solvable are not going to make it through this as much as they want to, and hopefully you're all planning for the best and worst case scenarios. So let's get to this Hot 10 video. Let's check out the hottest selling cards in the reserve list, and of course I'll be commenting throughout the video about what's going on in the MTG finance world. Our first card today comes from Stronghold, and that is Sliver Queen. 11 sales this week with a market price of $289.20 US. This is one of those cards that, although the price continues to fall, there's always going to be a few sales. There are people who have always wanted to own a copy of Sliver Queen to build that Commander Sliver deck, that casual Sliver deck. And yes, the price will actually go lower than this. The way the market is right now, this price will probably not be supported long enough, and it will continue to fall. So if you're waiting for this card to hit that 250 level US, it's going to hit there. If you want to see it at 230, it might even get that far before players are able to get their heads around it and maybe start purchasing again. But expect this card actually to continue to fall. When you look at the MTG finance world on cards like this, you know, survival of the fittest, a video I did earlier talking about how the best cards will actually be the ones first picked up. This is one of those cards that, although there are other major Sliver cards now, this one has that certain nostalgic flair. It does create slivers. It's still a great commander card to have around, so players do tend to still want to buy this card. And let's face it, it's on the reserve list. So when a player sees cards like this dipping down, they can get very overeager to buy multiple copies. If you're going to play with it, I understand why you'd want to grab it. But if you can wait, I actually think cards like this will continue to fall. Everywhere I'm seeing the dwindling sales of all these cards tells me that these prices are going to continue to fall because there's not enough money catching the cards to add liquidity to the secondary market. Now here we have Fork. 12 sales this week and the market price of $46.90. You can see its downward trend has been on for a while. Okay, now all the way back to 2021, but this card does still have playability and players still seek it out. But again, we're in the same situation as the Sliver Queen where this price will fall, it will dip down. And if you're a person who has this card, of course, I always say hold the line. Just like people on the channel like Connor would say, we got to hold this stuff because there's no sense in losing money. It's only a loss if you sell. And if you've already paid and bought and done it, and the credit card's paid off and the bills are done years ago, then it really doesn't matter if you sell it or don't sell it because it's already been paid for. If you're going to be playing with it, then a lot of these prices don't actually matter to you as a player. It's only that investor side that says, I paid $90 for this card and now it's only 25 bucks. Those are the players who are hoping to flip that are really going to be unhappy with what's going on and are really worried about what the market will change into in the future. Like how much money did they actually lose? So that's where a lot of people will go. They will let their minds go dark and think about that. Here we have Thrall Champion, 13 sales this week. Market price is $7.64. This is the card of the channel that I love to buy. This along with Sildevi Excavations, Bolduvian Trading Post, Lodestone Bauble, and of course, City of Shadows. And all those prices continue to fall. I myself am actually still buying all the cards I told you guys I would continue to buy. I still buy them once a month, and I'm still keeping up with my ordering because as the prices fall, it's actually making it more affordable for me, and I've kind of budgeted out money to do this, so I'm okay, continually purchasing these cards still. At least at this point, things haven't gotten too bad around where I'm working. When you look at Thrall Champion, not much to say about this card that hasn't already been said, especially in this current climate. It's a very low-end reserve list card that could be broken with the right combinations of reprinted cards or new cards being added in to spice this card up. So I've always enjoyed it, and a lot of other players kind of get the gimmick and the fun of doing it, so that's why we buy it. Now, number 7 is Copy Artifact, and I mentioned this in a card watch video on, what was that, Thursday? This kind of card will have long-term playability. So it is a card to keep your eye on. Now, it has 14 sales this week, which of course is very low, but when you're looking at this card and you look at its playability factor, it will survive. Okay, when the market finally comes back around deep into the future, who knows when it's going to be, but when it comes back around, cards like this, if they drop to the $50 or lower level, we keep sinking and it keeps going down lower, people will look for those near mint copies, and some people will take the risk. We've noticed a real decline in all the whales out there. We joked around the other day and we were talking, and we've noticed there's not, if there was real big whales out there with millions of dollars, you'd think they'd be gathering these cards up right now at these lower prices, these mid-range reserve lists, and it's not happening. Now here we have Savannah, 16 sales, okay? Because if you look at the trending at the very end, ever since the announcement in October, we had a couple of good sales, but now look at the trend. The trend is your friend. It is starting to dovetail down. We are starting to lose volume and lose sales. So anybody who is investing in these cards, especially dual lands, they were holding 100 or 200 dual lands, they are now looking for ways to get money, to get liquid. To, what does Rudy say? Cash used to be trash, but now cash is king again. Those players are trying to find a way to get liquidity out of their cards, and they will lower their prices to do it, because for all you know, they could have had these lands for 7-8 years and paid like $110, which is what Savannah cost back then. So they're still going to come out ahead. They just won't have as high a figure as they've had in the past, and that's where things will get really interesting for players with lands like this, because they're going to have to take a major hit to their portfolio of reserve list cards to actually get their cash out, because people are so mad at Wizards that they're just not biting on anything. Here we have Tropical Island, 17 sales, and again, look at the trend going down. It is going to go sub 500 again. Mark my words, guys, cards like this, you can wait on them. They are going to fall because there are a very small amount of investors who control very large positions of these cards. They may have 100, 200, 300 copies, and now they are worried about what's going to happen, and they are waiting to ditch these cards now. They want to get out a few sales to kind of pad the book a bit. And if nobody's buying, it will be a race to the bottom, just like Savannah. Savannah's going to take a little bit longer to get there because it's had a longer broad range, whereas Tropical Island's been on a slow decline for a while. It's going to go sub 500. Now, the next card is Wheel of Fortune. I was surprised to see this card on the list this week. 18 sales, which is fine. It's actually been on the list with this kind of numbers before, but the price hasn't fallen as much as I thought it would. $330.48 US is actually not a horrible price, but I thought this card was going to be going below the 280 mark, and I still think it's going to fall. So keep an eye on a card like this. Don't buy it yet. There's no rush. It's definitely not going to go up in price. These are cards we can just sit back now on the sidelines, especially if you're in a strong financial position. You don't have to buy anything right now. You can just sit there and watch the damage unfold and take advantage of it at a later point when you're ready to buy. Now, here we have Brain Geyser, 23 sales this week. Now, this card has really, just totally been on a dive. It is going to go below 20 bucks. It's going to keep falling. Cards like this, they have no grip right now. There are some sales, which is great. There are players who are picking it up as it falls, but it will continue to fall lower because some players got in there when this card was like $7, $8, and they bought like 100 copies. That only cost them $700, $800. And they were able to sell some for the $50, $60 level to kind of mitigate the damage. So they don't care if they sell it again for $12 or $13 because they're still getting a profit. So that's the kind of game they're playing. So again, you can wait for this card. There's no rush. The Metal Worker here at number 2 this week, okay? 23 sales. I was a little surprised. This one here has a little bit of an uptick actually, but I think it's temporary. I think these little boosts we're talking about are because it is at such a low price point that players are kind of grabbing in while they can. Plus we have the Brothers War coming, kind of adding a little bit of dive and grip and growl. You know, I want to have that card now, yay! And they go out and buy it. But the market here tells me that it can't hold. That price cannot hold where it is because there's just not enough interest going on with these cards. There's not enough interest in the sealed boxes, in the singles, in other areas at your LGS. It's not there. So this price will go down. It's going to fall probably to the $110 level before you know it. So if you're always hoping to get a Metal Worker, I think you can wait. The price have already been slipping. I think it's going to go further. Our last card today. Undiscovered Paradise is number 1 this week with 28 sales. Out of the cards I checked, this was the highest ranking one. Now the market price is $27.44, okay? You can see here though the price is going down. This is going to go below 20 bucks as well. No rush to buy it. It can sit there. Beautiful card. I love what it does. I have no problem with it. I've used and abused this card forever. I've always enjoyed the artwork. But you know what? I'm more than happy to let it go down in price like all the other cards here and pick them up later on because right now the market is not strong enough to really get us to buy these cards. So when you look at those cards and other cards I check like Griffin Canyon, Zubri, the Golden Feather, all of them are going down. The Conch Shell, Conch Horn from Fallen Empire, Zelion Sword Spear, all these lower end cards, General Jarkle, they're all in a downward trend. So if you're a person who has strong, you're really liquid, you got lots of cash, this is not the time to buy. You got to wait a while. These things are still going down and they're going to continue to fall because people with bigger positions and more expensive cards are pushing them onto the market. And as those prices get pushed to the bottom, the race to the bottom to see who can actually get a sale out of it, that's when you can really pick up some high ticket items at a very good low end price. But these are the hottest cards. These are the hottest selling cards this week. Many of our cards only had 2 or 3 sales. A lot of them had 0. Some haven't sold since early October when I checked. So Wizards, you did this. It's this and what's going on in the world because it's not just Wizards, right? That's one aspect of it. But the uncertainty in the market, job security, recessions, it's all part and parcel of this perfect storm we're talking about. And the hate train is just trucking along. So thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here today. This is your trip down the yellow brick road. These are the hottest selling cards in the reserve list. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the live stream on Sunday, Eastern Standard Time at 6:30. I'll see you guys then. And of course, a big shout out to all those patrons out there who are supporting me each and every month, guys. It really means a lot. Thank you so much, everyone. I couldn't do this without you. Well, here we are at the end of the video, and thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being here, everyone. And you know what? I may have to open the Necronomicon and see what's going to happen. Klaatu, Verata. Guys, let's face it. With prices falling the way they are, I'm going to keep an eye out. I'm watching for good deals. This is me personally. I'm looking for the best possible price on cards, and I don't think it's happened yet. I'm willing to wait and pick up the very best ones I can afford to get, add a little bit of spice to my life, but I'm not going to over leverage. Of course, I always do things on a budget, never hurt family or friends, and everything will be okay if you're one of those people who can afford to do it. It's a very interesting time. And I think a lot of these cards are going to keep coming down because Wizards has not fixed anything yet. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome day. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for being here. Nacho.